Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, student. How are you?
Waalaikumsalam, Doktor.
Can you hear my voice? Boleh dengar suara saya tak?
Boleh,
Jelas tak?
Doktor.
Yes, madam.
Doktor.
Alright, okay. Actually for today class, okay, actually I got a request from quite a number of students to do the revision class. So actually my timetable quite packed, but inshallah today I will spend about 1 hour with you. Okay, maybe we do the revisions for tomorrow final examination for our subject, isn't it? So far dah berapa subjek you all final?
3, Doktor.
Oh, dah 3. Okay. So where is the last date for final examinations?
27.
Oh, this week, next week. Okay, next week will be the last final examinations date. So class, so make sure for today class, make sure that you have your module with you. Okay, and so saya record sekejap. So I do the recording. Okay, for our final examinations, for our subject, okay, we'll cover starting, you follow the module starting chapter 8. Before that, I share the screen. Saya share module ya. Share. So, nampak tak notes that I share? Nampak tak kelas?
Nampak, Doktor.
Alright, okay. So, kita akan cover starting chapter 8, sampling distributions until the last topic, which is hypothesis testing for the relationships. And for today class, I would like to maybe we discuss especially the tutorial questions. And I will select the questions. Kalau nak bincang semua tak sempat, I will select the question, which is the question from the previous final examination. So it's so important for you to concentrate on that particular questions. Okay, may I know so far how's your preparations? Dah study ke belum?
Dah.
Dah lah ya. Okay, very good. Okay, good. Okay, just for today mungkin revise balik your knowledge and your understanding. So and before that, for the structure of the questions, for the structure of the question will be divided into two sections. Untuk section A, section pertama, okay, will be fill in the blank questions. Fill in the blank macam example tutorial questions chapter 9. Chapter 10, Fundamental Hypothesis, more on conceptual understanding. They will test your understanding. So this is an example of the, fill in the blank question. So for the section 1, will contribute about 10 marks. And the other 40 marks is the structure question, which is starting cover chapter 8, sampling distribution until the last chapters. Okay, this is the calculation question for the second sections. Okay, is it clear class? For final examination will contribute about 50%. Carry mark 50% and final examination 50%. Actually for carry mark, I have released the mark. You can check the mark. If you have any inquiries, you rasa macam you just want to chat with me, you can contact me. Okay, private message me, so we can check your carry marks. Okay, class. So can we start now? Okay, kita start.
Doktor.
Alright. Okay, for chapter 8, sampling distributions. So it's so important for you to understand, okay, 8.1, yang ni kena tahu a concept of sampling distribution. Okay, baca balik the definitions and also the concepts. And talking about sampling distribution for chapter 8, ada dua perkara, that is two part that you kena faham. The first one is sampling distribution of the mean, okay, mean, and the other one is sampling distribution of the proportions. So ada dua part compulsory for you to understand. And before that, all the formulas will be given. Formula semua diberi, tapi it's so important for you to understand how to use the formulas. So I proceed with the 8.2 sampling distribution of the mean. Mean. Okay, and then this is special for numerical data actually. Okay, you need to understand what does it mean by sampling distribution of the mean. And the most important part is the concept of standard error of the mean. Okay, and the formula is, formula ni kena tahu, this is formula of standard error of the mean. Okay, and satu lagi for chapter 8, sampling distribution. This one is special for the situation that when we have the sample size. Okay, and then this is the standard error of the mean. The formula is okay, please switch off your. Saya tak tahu ada pelajar yang terbuka mungkin mikrofon. Make sure that you switch off your mic. Okay, so this is the formula, standard error of the mean. Okay, the formula is standard deviations. Okay, divide by, okay, and square root. Okay, and then, and then the formula. Actually, class, you need to understand what is the purpose of the chapter. The purpose of this chapter 8, is actually you need to find the probability. You kena dapatkan nilai probability. So the formula is, okay, you need to translate, isn't it? The x value, mean value into the z. Okay, so this formula is so important, which is z equal to this one. Okay, x bar means that mean, okay, sample minus mean population divided by, okay, standard error divided by n square root. Yang ni wajib tahu. Okay, and then nanti kita relate dengan example. Okay, this is the relationship between samples. Yang ni boleh baca. Okay, the other one you need to understand is the concept of central limit theorem. What does it mean by central limit theorem? Means that, okay, berapa banyak the sample size that you need to include in your study in order to contribute to the normal distributions. Paling sikit, in order for you to proceed with the statistical analysis, you need to have n sample size, okay, greater or lesser than 30. Maksud dia yang paling sikit pun mesti 30, okay, what we call data. Okay, barulah you can proceed to the statistical data analysis. This is the very important concept in statistics. Okay, and then example. So next, I would like to explain, yes, this one. 8.3, wajib tahu. Instead of sample distribution of the mean, you also need to understand the sample distribution of the proportions. Okay, class, what does it mean by proportions? Any one of you? Kalau mean kita tahu kan, mean we can derive from the numerical data. For example, mean age, mean CGPA, mean salaries. How about proportions? Okay, you kena tahu how to differentiate between mean and also proportions. Okay, proportions ni is the measurement in order to estimate ataupun kita nak kira the categorical data. For example, you would like to know the proportion of the female student involved in the research. So, jumlah female student tu you divide by total number of the sample, and after that you can get the proportion value. So normally proportion ni is special for categorical data. Okay, please read details for the concept. Okay, however class, the most important part in proportion, you need to understand the standard error of the proportion. Tak di standard error of the mean, but this one, you need to understand the standard error of the proportion. So this is the formula. Okay, Q, a standard deviation of the proportion. P kat sini represent proportion equal to square root of, okay, pi ni membawa maksud, what is pi class? Proportion populations. Okay, in bracket, 1 minus pi divided by n square root. Okay, this is the formula of the standard error of the proportions. And after that, sama juga dengan standard error of the mean just now. Okay, our intention is we want to find the probability by convert the value to the z values. Okay, so Z sekarang ni kita fokus on the proportion. The formula is P minus pi divided by square root of pi, 1 minus pi divided by n, and after that you square rootkan dia. Okay, so now class, I will let you do the tutorial question, yeah? We focus on tutorial questions. So I will select a few questions here. Okay, questions number 4. Actually, this is the previous final examination questions. Questions number 4 class. Okay, so I dah mark kat sini. Okay, any volunteer to read the questions? Any volunteer? Any volunteer? Amar dia tak Amar. Amar, adakah Amar, are you in the system? Okay, Anis? Anis Farhana?
Yes, Doctor.
Please read the questions.
At a computer manufacturing company, the actual size of computer chips is normally distributed with a mean of 1 centimeter and a standard deviation of 0.1 centimeter. A random sample of 12 computer chips is taken. What is the probability that the sample mean will be between 0.99 and 1.01 centimeters?
Okay, good. Okay, when you gather the question later on, what you need to do, read the question carefully. Okay, you need to know the question relate to which chapters. For example, in this question, when you read the question carefully, the question stated that, okay, the actually size computer chips is normally distributed with the mean. Okay, so now you know that the value of mean and also the value of standard deviations. However, this one for populations. And the sample is 12. Kita dah ada sample size n kan, is it ni? Which is 12. And the question wants you to count the probability. The keyword is probability. The sample mean. Okay, so kita ada key kat sini. Sample mean will be between, okay, 0.99 and 1.01. Okay, so this is the step. Okay, so I show you the step. Okay, so in these questions, okay, you need to know how to state what we call the inequality for this question. Okay, so the question wants you to find the probability, isn't it? State the P symbol for probability. And this question actually, when you read closely, it wants you to find the sample mean, isn't it? So sample mean is X bar. Sample mean X bar greater than 0.9 but lesser than 1.01. Okay, ada juga student yang tanya saya, Doktor, is it okay I use this symbol? Okay, no problem. You also can use the symbol of greater, equal to or lesser than equal to, but normal practice we just use the symbol greater and lesser because the purpose of this question actually in end of the step, actually we want to find the probabilities. And after that, okay, you need to transform Okay. X bar to Z. Okay, and you need to know the formula. So actually the formula is X bar minus mu divided by standard deviation divided by n square root. In examinations for tomorrow, so I will highly suggest you to write down the formula. In case that maybe ada silap dekat step, our stay can give to the formula, the mark, okay, to that particular formula. Okay, and then class, what you have to do, okay, so for this question, okay, we know that we need to find the area in between. Okay, so this area, U minus, okay, this area. Okay, so we start with this one, 1.01 minus standard deviation is 1, isn't it? Okay, standard deviation given, mean population is 1. Okay, and then divide by, okay, standard deviations is 0.1. This is mean population. I repeat once again, mean sample is 1.01 minus mean population 1 divided by standard error of the mean, which is standard deviation 0.1 divided by n square root. And also you need to minus with this area. Okay, in case that you're unsure, you can, you can illustrate, okay, through the normal curve. Kamu juga boleh lukis untuk lebih faham. Okay, so minus this area, so 0.99 minus 1 populations of the mean divided by standard error of the mean 0.1 divided by n square root of 12. And after that class, what you have to do, okay, find the value of z. Okay, z lesser than this area is lesser than 0.35 minus pz less than equal to negative 0.35. And after that, what you have to do, class, you need to read the z table. So I believe that all of you already know how to read the z table. Z table also will be given during the examination. And after that, find the Z table. And after that, you will get the value. And the probability value is 0.2736. Or you can write down in the form of what we call percentage, which is 27.36. Okay, class, so far any questions? Is it okay for this question?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, good. Okay. You also can try the other question as well. So now, okay, next I want to select one questions, which is related to proportions, sampling distribution of the proportions. So class, please refer to question 8. Any volunteer to read question 8? Actually, all the selected question that I discussed today is the previous examinations questions. Please, any volunteer? Please class, cepat class sebab I only have about 30 more minutes. At least we cover all the question until multiple regressions.
Saya baca, Doktor.
Boleh. Okay, come. Cepat.
A study at a college on the west coast reveals that historically, 45% of the students are minority students. If random samples of size 75 are selected, compute the standard error of the proportion of students in the samples who are minority students.
Okay, good. Actually, class, actually this question very direct. This question already stated the proportion value. The proportion value, if you look closely, is 45%, or actually the proportion value of pi. I write down a proportions value given of pi here is simbol pi. Mana simbol pi sekejap? Saya copy simbol pi sekejap. Okay, so equal to 45% or in decimal point. If you want to substitute in the formula, you tukar kepada decimal point, which is 0.45. Okay, in case that class, the question doesn't give the proportion value, you have to count. So the formula is, the total number of the item, that particular category, divided by the total number of the sample. And the first question is a very direct questions. Okay, you need to substitute in the formula of standard error of the proportion. If you unsure that, at the back of the, I mean that in the subtopic sample distribution of the proportions, this is the formula. You can write down actually in the answer. So here I write down for you. And then after that, class just substitute the value, which is pi here represents 0.45 in bracket -1 minus 0.45 divided by 75. The sample size is 75, isn't it? Okay, and solve it, you will get the standard error of the proportion is 0.0574. And after that, for the second questions, the second question wants you to find the probability that more than half, more than half of the student in the sample will be minority students. More than half normally represent how many percent, class? 50% kan? Separuh kan? 50%. Okay, just now you already, in the first question, you already calculate the standard error of the proportion. So, however, in the B question, you need to find, this one. This one. P probability, P refer to the proportion ya. Yang tadi mean, yang ni proportion. Read the question carefully. Greater than 50% convert to decimal point 0.5. So you need to find this probability. And what you have to do, you just substitute in the formula. Because of the error is above mean. Kalau you draw, if you draw the normal distributions, the probability that you need to find is above mean. So what you have to do, 1 minus P. So we translate sama juga as you find the mean probability for the mean tadi. So you need to translate proportions into the Z. Sama juga. Lesser and equal, so just substitute the value 0.5 minus 0.45. This is the what we call proportion population. This is the proportion sample that you need to find according to the question just now, 50%, isn't it? And divide by standard error of the proportion. You already count it. And after that, just follow the step. Y minus phi z, we already gather the z here. And you get 0.87. And after that, please read the z table. 1 minus 0.87 equal to 0.8078. Okay, so solve it and you will get 0.19922. Okay, class, any one of you don't know how to read the Z table? Any one of you? Okay, I do hope that all of you at this stage, you must know how to read the Z table. Okay, so that's it for uh, chapter 8, sampling distribution, and chapter 9. Okay, for chapter 9, okay, actually refer to the confident interval estimations. Okay, so again, for the chapter, what you need to understand is all the concept related to the estimations. What does it mean by point estimators? Okay, read back the definition especially, and also the interval estimator. What does it mean by confident interval? Okay, so all of these you need to read. And for this question, it's so important for you to know the formulas. Okay, general formula in order to find the confident interval estimation is, okay, point estimator plus minus critical value multiply with standard error of the mean. However, class, okay, in this chapter, you need to understand there are two types in order to find the confident interval estimation for the mean. We focus on the mean first. The first one is if you know the standard deviation of the population. Okay, so this one, if you know the standard deviation of the population, I mean you use okay Z formula, which is S bar plus minus Z alpha divided by 2. Okay, and multiply with standard error of the mean standard deviation of the population divided by n square root. And the other one is confident interval for mean, which is you don't know the standard deviation of the population. In case that you don't know the standard deviation of the population, please use this formula. Okay, S bar plus minus T instead of Z, we replace with T alpha divided by 2. Okay, and S stand for standard deviation of the sample divided by n square root. Please read the question carefully, and the question was stated, is it the standard deviation for the population? And maybe the question doesn't state the standard deviation of the populations. So you must know which formula you need to do based on the standard deviation given or not given. Okay, so class, actually for the table 9.2, because some of you asked me, is it the table provided or not in the examination? Okay, for this table, not provided. Z table, yes. The formula, yes. But for this table 9.2, especially to find the Z alpha divided by 2 value, not provided. You need to remember the Z alpha divided by 2 value, or in case that you, not remember the value, I mean you can refer to the Z table. Actually, class, normally confident level that always ask in the exam is you concentrate on 90%. Okay, this one 90%, and then 95%, okay, plus minus 1.96, 90% plus minus 1.645, and after that, okay, the other one is 98, 2.33, and the other one is 99, 2.58. Okay, so please remember all this value. Okay, and after that, you also need to know this one, also important, 9.5, the mean sample size for the mean. Okay, yang ni antara soalan yang selalu juga ditanya ya, and you need to understand this formula and how given you the scenario, given to you Z value, Z alpha divided by 2, standard deviation of the population, and also sample error, and you need to find the sample size. Okay, so you need to understand this formula, and after this, we will discuss one question related to how to determine sample size for the mean. And finally, for this question, okay, this subtopic, which is 9.6, configure the interval for the population proportions pi. Okay, this one, you also need to know how to find the estimation for population proportion, and you need to understand this formula. Okay, P sample proportion plus minus Z alpha divided by 2, and normally for confidence interval for the population proportion, we always use Z, instead of T, we always use Z. And after that, multiply with standard error of the proportions. Okay, class, I would like to discuss maybe a few questions related to the chapter 9. Okay, so I would like to discuss questions number 2. Okay, questions number 2 actually related to the how to find the confidence interval estimations actually for the mean in case that you know the standard deviation of the populations. Anyone? Please read the question. Questions number 2, page 127. Ada volunteer nak read the questions? Okay, good, please.
A survey was taken by Malaysian companies that do business with firms in Japan. A random sample of 44 companies were involved in the survey yielded a mean of 10.499 years. 10.455 years. The population of standard deviation is 7.7 years. Construct a 90% confidence interval for the mean number of years that a company has been trading in Japan for the population of Malaysian companies trading in firm in Japan.
Alright, okay, apa yang happy sangat tu? Okay, pening dah ke? Terlebih study dah? Alright, okay. For questions number 2, okay, for this question actually, okay, you need to, normally if I want you to calculate the confidence interval, I was stated in the question. So automatically actually you know this question refer to which chapter. And I believe that automatically you know which formula that you need to concentrate on. When you read this question carefully, okay, I baca kat sini, a random sample, okay, a random sample of 44. So this is the n size. This is n size, 44. Were involved in the survey means, okay, this is mean for the sample. 10.455 year, ni mean for the sample. Okay, so you got the ideas here. However, talking about this one, the population of standard deviation also given, which is 7.7 years. Because of this question, standard deviation is given to you. Standard deviation of the population, so you use Z. Z formula instead of T formula. And the question wants you to construct 90% of confidence level in order to find the confidence interval estimations. Okay, so just use this formula. It's very obvious that you need to use this formula. Read the question carefully because the question given to you standard deviation of the populations. Okay, the mean is 10.455 plus minus, okay, 90% confidence level Z alpha divided by 2. You refer to the table 9.2. Okay, Z alpha divided by 2 is 1.645. And after that, you multiply with standard error, which is standard deviation 7.7 divided by square root of 44. Okay, and you solve it. Okay, untuk di bawah ni, mesti nilai tu mesti in between the final answer. Okay, stated the mean population, which is mu, and in between. Okay, for this one, yes, you need to state it greater and equal. Okay, the lower boundary is 8.545 and the upper limit is 12.2365. And how to get 8.545 is by divide 10.455 minus 1.910. And for the upper confidence limit or boundary, okay, 10.455 plus with 1.910. 10. So this is how you answer this question. In case that you know the standard deviation of the population. Okay, so now I would like to show to you, in case that you need to use the T formula, which is you know the standard deviation of the sample. You do not know the standard deviations of the populations, what we call standard deviation of the population. So maybe I would like to show to you questions 3. Please, any volunteer to read questions 3? Lee Wei Ji adakah Lee? Lee, are you in the system?
Yes.
Please read questions 3.
Okay. Suppose the following data are selected randomly from a population of normally distributed values. 3, 1, 3, 2, 5, 1, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 3, 1, 1. Construct a 99% confidence interval to estimate the population means.
Okay, thank you, Lee. Okay, for this question, actually this question, when you read as general, it will related to chapter confidence interval estimation, but maybe you confused. Okay, which one I need to use? Is it, okay, the formula, Z formula, which is population known, standard deviation of population known, or maybe T formula for the standard deviation of the population we don't know, we don't know. And the question only gives you standard deviation of the populations. Standard deviation of the sample. And for this question given to you, okay, data collected from the populations from normal distributed value. Okay, so population mean. Suppose the data, okay. In this question, from the population, they select how many sample? 15, isn't it? 14 ke 15? 14, isn't it? 14 data, isn't it? Okay, 14. However, this is the sample actually. This is the sample. 40 sample. Actually, this question, okay, doesn't give to you the standard deviation of the population, but, okay, you need to calculate the standard deviation of the sample. Okay, so it's very obvious that you need to use this formula, T formula. Okay, so this one, S bar, okay, plus minus T alpha divided by 2, standard deviation of the sample divided by N square root. Okay, class, how to calculate the standard deviation of the sample? Masih ingat lagi? Do you still remember, class, on how to calculate the standard deviation of the sample? Okay, you need to find the mean, isn't it? Find the mean, and after that, each of the value, you need to minus with the mean and square root. And after that, divide by sample size minus 1, isn't it? Okay, because in this question, the question doesn't give to you the standard deviation of the sample value. You need to count it first. If you're unsure, class, you can go to chapter 4. Okay, pergi chapter 4 and check again on how to calculate the standard deviations for the sample. Okay, so I proceed, class. Okay, in this chapter, in this question, actually, you need to use this formula. Okay, so mean is very obvious that mean is 2.14, isn't it? Okay, you calculate the mean, you will get 2.14 plus minus. Okay, and then T alpha divided by 2. Okay, so for this one, you need to refer T table. Okay, in order to find the T table, so I will show to you for T table. Okay, at the back of the module, okay, this is T table. In order to read the T table, the sample 40 minus 130. Okay, and after that, this one 13. Okay, and then, okay, alpha divided by 2. Normally, alpha is 1% in this case, because 99% confidence interval, confidence levels. Okay, so 1% divided by 2, you will get 0.005. 0.0, so here, so you will get the T alpha divided by 2 value from the T table is 3.012. So here, 3.012. So class, please read the question carefully. If the question focus on 99, so the significant level alpha is 1%. Is 95, significant level is 5%. Okay, so once again, okay, please check the question carefully. Okay, what is the value of the confidence level given? Mana tadi? Question, this one. And after that class, what you have to do, so you already find 3.01240 alpha divided by 2, and after that, just substitute in the formula. So 214, in this question, you have to count for the mean, plus minus 3.012, this one, T alpha divided by 2, you refer to the T table, and this one standard deviation of the sample you need to count. Based on the data given, you have 40 set data here. Count carefully the standard deviation for the sample, and after that divide by sample square root. If it's 14 divided by, 14 square root. Okay, and after that solve it, you will get mean in between 1.10 and greater than but lesser and equal to 3.18. This is how you solve questions number 3. So I do hope that class you can differentiate the situation that standard deviations of the population given and not given, which is you need to use Z or maybe T, a formula for the confidence interval estimations. And after that, I want to discuss one question, question 8. Question 8 related to the sample size. This one also important. Actually, this one, the question is very direct. This also the question that I took from the previous final examinations. Okay, in this question, if standard deviations of the population given equal to 6, what is the sample size? So this is the questions. Okay, so this is the keyword actually to answer this question. What sample size is needed to estimate the mean that bound on the error? This is sample error E, one with the 90% confidence level. So class stated the formula. This formula will be given at the back of the question paper tomorrow. So n equal to Z alpha divided by 2 squared. Ada kuasa squared standard deviations of the population squared divided by E squared. Okay, it's so easy. You just substitute the values. Okay, Z alpha divided by 2. Okay, if 90%, okay, so again, you can refer to this table, but this table not given to you. You have to remember, if 90%, so Z alpha divided by 2 is 1.645. Okay, substitute the value. Okay, 1.645 squared kuasa 2. Okay, and then standard deviation is 6. Okay, squared divided by, okay, sampling error E is 1 squared. And solve it, you get 97.42. You round out the number and sample size is, okay, n equal to 97. This is how you answer questions number 8. In order how to determine the sample size for the mean. And finally, I would like to explain one more questions. Questions number 9, which is related to the confidence interval for the proportions. Okay, any volunteer to read questions number 9? Any one of you? Shamimi? Shamimi, are you in the system? Please read questions number 9. Shamimi ada ke? Okay, Tenaswari, are you in the system?
Ada, madam.
Please read questions number 9.
In the survey conducted by a business management company, 52% of workers from a country A said they have negotiated a pay raise at least once in their lives. Suppose that the survey had a sample size of 600, construct a 95% confidence interval estimate for the proportion of all workers who have negotiated a pay raise.
Okay, good. Okay, for this question, actually, class, the keywords is here. Interval estimation for proportions. Okay, I was stated clearly in the question, which, okay, subtopic you need to answer or you need to refer for that particular question. This is the keyword class, interval estimation for the proportion. So for sure that you have to use this formula. P plus minus Z alpha divided by 2 square root of P sample proportion Y minus sample proportion divided by N square root. So this is the formula for proportion. Be careful. Is it interval estimation for the mean or maybe for the proportions? Okay, so in this case, I also give to you the sample proportion, which is 52% of 0.52. So substitute in the formula. So I choose to you. Okay, so here P 52%, which is 0.52 plus minus Z alpha divided by 2 for 95%. You can refer to table 9.2 just now. Okay, which is 1.96. And square root, okay, ganti masuk saja, just substitute the value 0.52 in bracket 1 minus 0.52 divided by sample size, which is 600, and square root it. And you solve this area, you get 0.00995. Okay, for the final answer, actually ada correction here. There is the correction here. Okay, proportions, okay, normally we represent with the symbol pi, not mu, mu for mean. Here is pi. Please do the correction here. Okay, pi greater and equal to 0.4800 and lesser and equal to, okay, 0.5600. This is how you answer this question related to interval estimation for the proportions. Okay, and after that class, we move on to chapter 10. Okay, for chapter 10, actually is conceptual questions. Okay, you need to read all the concept. For example, what does it mean by hypothesis? Null hypothesis, alternate hypothesis. This one also important. Okay, type 1 error and type 2 error. Just at least you know what is definition and type error 2. Okay, so this is the definitions. Okay, please read. And also the direction of the hypothesis. Read for your knowledge as well. Okay, this is level of significance and rejection area. Okay, so differentiate this test statistic for z-stat and t-stat. And after that, this one also important, testing the hypothesis. Okay, in our chapter, we will discuss 2 steps, isn't it? Okay, the first one, okay, is to find the critical value. Okay, this is for one sample t-test. Okay, this is manual solutions. For the manual solution, only for our syllabus, for this semester, only for one sample t-test. However, for p-value, which is through the SPSS, yang ni banyak sikit, which is you need to read the SPSS output, which is we will cover. Okay, independent. I write down here, independent sample. Okay, t-test. Okay, ANOVA. Okay, which one? ANOVA. Correlations and multiple regressions. Another one, independent sample t-test. The other one is paired sample t-test. Ada satu lagi, sample t-test. All the statistical technique, okay, you need to know how to read the p-value, how to do the interpretation through the SPSS output. I think that this one is more easier as compared to this. Okay, find the critical value, which is manual solution to test the hypothesis. But class, okay, after that I will show and I will concentrate on the selected questions. And also this one for the p-value, how to read the p-value. And class, please do the tutorial questions because for tomorrow examination, we also have the conceptual question, which is you need to fill in the blank. Okay, like this question. Maybe you can do this question for your exercises. Okay, class, now I would like to concentrate on the chapter 11, which is ada question ke? Okay, sebab sekejap. Saya rasa ada question. Dr. may I ask what formula yang akan diberi kat dalam paper or formula disediakan seperti yang di belakang buku? Okay, yes. So far, all formula will be given. Okay, all the formula. But yang I cakap tadi, yang 9.2 tu. Table 9.2, I show once again. Okay, tak apa, I show once again. Mana tadi button share tadi? I go to button share. Okay, ada rakan-rakan kamu yang ada exam hari ni? Petang ni. Ada yang ada exam ke? Tak sure. Okay, saya pergi mana tadi? Okay, this one. Okay, so for formula, all will be given except this table. This table you need to memorize. You need to remember, okay, especially Z alpha divided by 2. Okay, but class, in case that you lupa esok, it's okay. You still can refer to the Z table in order to know Z alpha divided by 2. Okay, class. So I proceed, yes, student. Okay, testing for the mean. Class, do you still following me? Masih ikut lagi saya?
Yes.
Okay, good. Sebab I nak habiskan sampai multiple regressions. At least you ada gambaran, you have a big picture for tomorrow examinations. Okay, one sympathy test also covered. Okay, so for one sympathy test, you need to understand what does it mean by one sympathy test. And for one sympathy test is manual solutions. Means that for one sympathy test only, okay, do not cover the SPSS output. So means that the questions will ask you how to test the hypothesis for one sample as manually. So you can refer to this one, so important, subtopic 11.2.1. Okay, this one. Okay, which is you need to test the hypothesis for one sympathy test, which is you know the standard deviations of the populations. The other one is 11.2.2, which is hypothesis one sympathy test, which is you don't know the standard deviation of the population, which is only given to the standard deviation of the sample. Okay, so tak apa, lepas ni I will show you one example. And for subtopic 11.2.3 do not cover. For SPSS one sample, the test semester ni we do not cover because we already covered the manual. Okay, two sample. This one also important. Okay, for two sample, we have independent sympathy test and paired sympathy test. Both of these statistical technique, the question will produce by utilizing or through the SPSS output. Okay, so and same goes to ANOVA. ANOVA also were asked through the SPSS output. Okay, so class, now I would like to select a few questions, okay, to discuss with you. Okay, so page 158, isn't it? Okay, we start with the first question, class. Okay, so any volunteer to read the question? 156, sorry.
Me, doctor.
Okay, good. Okay, please read the question.
Okay,
More.
a manager of credit department for an oil company would like to determine whether the mean monthly balance of credit card holders is equal to RM 160 ringgit. An auditor selects a random sample of 25 accounts and find that the mean owed is 172 and 50 cents with a sample deviation of 15 ringgit 40 cents. Test the appropriate hypothesis at alpha equals to 0.05.
Okay, thank you. Okay, in these questions, okay, for one sympathy test, actually this question related to one sympathy test. Okay, you need to know, okay, which one you can, which formula you need to use. Okay, when you go to one sample, you have two scenarios, isn't it? The first one is, you know the standard deviation of the population. The second one is the situation that you don't know the standard deviation of the population, but the question given standard deviation of the sample. So let's pick out the important terminologies for the question, which is at least we know which formula we can use for these questions. Okay, so actually this question wants you to test, is it the mean monthly balance of credit cards holder is equal to 160? So you can write, okay, for the solution, the first you need to state the null and alternate hypothesis. Okay, so you want to test mean equal to 160, or maybe mean is not equal to 160. The first sentence, please read the question carefully. Okay, and after that, the second one, if you read the next sentence, an auditor select a random sample, okay, that the sample size is 25, okay, and the mean on, okay, mean dia untuk sampel adalah 172.5. Okay, this is the mean, this is the sample size. And after that, a sample of standard deviation. See, in this case, given to you the sample standard deviation of the sample. Standard deviation of the sample is not standard deviation of the population. Means that we do not know the standard deviation of the population value. So we need to use the sample standard deviations. So it's referred to the formula T statistic. T, instead of Z, we use T. Okay, test appropriate hypothesis with alpha 0.05. Sometimes the question will give to you the confidence level. For example, confidence level 95%. Is confidence level 95%, automatically alpha dia akan jadi 0.05 atau 5%. If confidence level 99%, automatically alpha will equal to 1% or 0.01. Okay, so you already stated the null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis. Okay, now we move on to the second step. Okay, second step, you need to determine confidence level, which is 0.05. Level of significance, 0.05 given in the questions. And after that, degree of freedom and n size, before the n size 25. Okay, degree of freedom, in order to read the T table, you need to have the degree of freedom n minus 1, 25 minus 1, you will get 24. And after that, you need to determine the appropriate technique. Okay, so in this case, we do not know the standard deviation of the population, so automatically we will use T statistic. Instead of Z, we use T statistic. And after that, before we calculate the T statistic, we need to calculate the critical values. And how to find the critical values is through T table. T table at the back of your module. Again, you go okay, so this is the critical value. Okay, nilai yang kita berada di upper and lower confidence limit. And after that, you need to compute T statistic, and this is the formula for T statistic. And how to know the T statistic just now? You can refer actually in chapter 11 just now. Chapter 10. As I explained in chapter 10, this table. Figure 10.2, test statistic for the mean, page 136. Okay, Z statistic and T statistic. This is the formula. If you want to refer, okay, and after that I follow our discussion just now. Okay, so just substitute the value. So the mean, okay, in this case is 172.50. The populations you want to test. The population is the value that you want to test is 116 divided by standard error of the sample is 50.40 and divide by square root of sample size is 25. So Sophie, you will get 4.06. Okay, now after that, okay, I think that is more easier for you if you draw or illustrate the normal distribution by showing all the value. I besarkan sikit ya. So here. Okay, so in this case, we know that, okay, this is the lower limit, this is upper limit. Just now we already calculate the lower limit, which is the critical value is lower limit, we represent with negative 2.064, round out the number. Okay, and upper value is 2.064 based on the T table. And after that, you need to make the comparison. The T value just now, we count is 4.06, isn't it? And after that, you tengok nilai ni jatuh di mana? 0.46 actually within the rejection area or not? Is actually dia jatuh di sini kan? Not in the rejection area. So our conclusion is if in this area, the area that I colored with just white color here, this is the value that falls not in the rejection area, the value 4.06, which is the value of T statistic falls in the non-rejection area. So we made the conclusion that we do not, kita tak tolak HO. So we can make the conclusion we have insufficient evidence that the mean cost is different from 100. Mean monthly balance credit card holder, I copy balik. Okay, so. Okay, so we have insufficient evidence that true monthly balance of credit card holder is equal to RM 160. So means that we cannot challenge the null hypothesis. So we just stick with our null hypothesis, which mean equal to 160. We have no evidence to challenge this null hypothesis. Okay, class, is it okay for questions number 1, one sample test? Is it clear, class?
Sorry,
Any
Doctor.
question? Yes.
Bukan 4.06 falls under the rejection area ke? Bukan dia lepas 2.0639.
Sekejap. 4.06. Yelah you all. Okay, actually, yeah, in the rejection area. Thank you. Betul. Okay, 4.06. Okay, actually fall in the rejection area. Okay, I thought negative, but it's okay. Okay, good. Okay, fall in the rejection area. So what is the decision? We reject or not reject?
Reject.
Okay, very good. Actually, we reject. Okay, actually for this question, we reject. Okay, instead of not reject, we reject. Sebab, okay, 4.06. Okay, so I thought tadi to something, tak apa, 4.06 actually in the rejection area. Okay, so HO, so we have sufficient. Okay. So that show that, okay, bagus. Okay, so okay, sufficient. Okay, we have sufficient evidence that true monthly balance of credit card is not equal to 160. So we can challenge the null hypothesis. Okay, is it clear, class? Okay, any other questions?
Yeah.
Now I would like to, yes?
Macam mana nak kira S tu?
Nak kira?
S, nilai S
S mana?
dekat formula.
S standard deviation of the sample ni. Yang 50.4 ni kan?
Yes, Doktor.
Ha? Oh,
Yes,
this
Doktor.
one. This one, actually all the formula, all the information already given. You just gantikan dalam formula. Okay, kalau tengokkan S bar, kalau you baca soalan, mean sample adalah 172.50. Mean populations adalah 160 kan? Bahagi standard deviation of the sample pun diberi 15.40. Divide by sample size pun diberi 25 square root. You just masuk value and you will get the answer. Boleh ke?
Okay. Thank you, Doktor.
Okay, alright. Okay, lagi? Ada questions lagi? Untuk step ni mungkin dia agak panjang sikit. Dan markahnya pun biasa banyak untuk step ni. Tapi make sure that you buat semua step. At least kalau ada mana-mana step yang incorrect, so at least I still can give the mark to the other step for the other step yang correct. Okay, so now I would like to move on to the next questions. Okay, untuk next question, before the class, you also can try questions number 2. But for questions number 3 ni kita tak cover sebab ni one sample test for the SPSS. Yang ni we not cover. For SPSS, we start with the independent sample test. So I would like to discuss questions number 4. Okay, kita tengok sikit questions number 4. This actually, if you gather this question, is untuk SPSS ni sebenarnya dia very direct. Just read the table. Okay, any volunteer to read questions number 4? Any of you?
Saya, Doktor.
Okay, please read question number.
Aina,
Boleh siapa-siapa.
okay. Aina, an undergraduate student, is interested in studying the difference in the mean of emotional satisfaction level (ESET) in service encounters between female and male students. She took a sample of 264 students in WebC. The data gathered were analyzed using the SPSS software. The following is the summary of the independent sample test results.
Okay, so in these questions, okay, this researcher want to test the mean difference, mean of emotional satisfaction level between two groups, isn't it? Two independent group, female and male. So this one actually is independent sample t-test. So diberi the result, okay, this is the result, and dua table ni, this is the result. Okay, so biasanya soalan will ask you, okay, actually this is the final question last 2 semester if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so the first one, you have to state the null and alternate hypothesis. Okay, so just state the hypothesis HO equal to mu1 is not equal to mu2, H1 equal to mu1 is not equal to mu2. And please, okay, explain mu1, okay, refer to the mean, except for male student, mu2 refer to the mean emotional satisfaction for the male students. Okay, and after that, what you have to do, okay, the second question, compute standard error for the mean. Is 73, isn't it? Okay. Sebab dia nak male kan, for male. Okay, just substitute in the formula and you will get 2.29145 divided by 73 square root. And you will get the answer A equal to 2.26819. But class, if you stated the answer in the 2 decimal also, okay, I accept 0.27. Okay. Alright, so this is the standard error for the mean for a male in order to answer questions number 2. And after that, okay, the last question is, at 0.05 level of significance, is there evidence of the difference in the mean emotional satisfaction between male and female student? For this question, actually, you have two pace. Okay, phase 1 and phase 2. Okay, yang ni memang you kena jawab dua. Phase 1 is test for equality variances. Okay, and phase 2 test for the mean. Macam mana nak baca? Okay, go to the first one. 11 test. Okay, this one. 11 test equality of variances. Okay, baca this P value. Okay, so P value is 0.559 and compare with alpha 0.05. So greater than alpha. So if greater than alpha, we fail to reject HO. If we fail to reject HO, we conclude that, okay, variance are equal. So variance are equal. So this is the answer. And page number 2, barulah kita test for the means. And how to test the means? So here. Test for the mean. Okay, so select equal variance assume. So here. So, and in order to test the mean, I mean that, okay, the hypothesis. Okay, so the first one you need to state the t values. State the t values. Okay, and p values. So carefully read the p value to significant 0.0. 22. So stated here t value and p value and compare p value with alpha. P value 0.022 is lesser than 0.05. So reject or fail to reject, class? If p value lesser than alpha, class, reject or fail to reject? Okay, good. So we have evidence that mean, okay, emotional satisfaction between female and male adalah berbeza or significantly different. So this is how you answer the independent sample t-test. So questions number 4 is the example. Okay, maybe you can try questions number 5 as well for independent sample t-test. And after that, I would like to pick one question which is related to PET sample t-test. PET sample t-test ni, if you want to test or make the comparison from the mean from the same population's mean. Okay, so for this question, actually a researcher in healthcare wanted to investigate if there is the significant difference in the mean birth rate between women. Ada dua group lah, satu age under 85, but the other one is woman age 88 and over. But they still want to make the comparison of the mean birth rate. Okay, so produce this result. This is the PET sample t-test result. Okay, so normally for the PET sample t-test, so this is will be the hypothesis. Okay, so the hypothesis, you write down again null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis. So a special scheme for PET sample t-test. For null hypothesis, you stated UD equal to 0 means that there is this not significant difference. F1, H1, which is mu D, capital L is not equal to 0, means that there is the significant difference in terms of mean birth rate between these two age groups. And after that, significant level 0.01. So the question wants you to test hypothesis testing to prove the above statement. And how to answer this question is, so you need, the first one, you need to state the t value here. T value is 11.355. P value at the very last column here, significant 0.000, 0.000. And after that, compare with alpha 0.01, lesser, isn't it? So show all the steps. Okay, so reject HO. So what we can say that? So we can say that the data provide statistically significant evidence. We have significant evidence that the mean birth rate differ between these two age groups. Okay, so this is for the PET sample t-test. So maybe I would like to focus on one more example, class. Questions number 8. Okay, you can try questions number 7. Number 7 actually refer to the ANOVA, but I want to explain to you for the ANOVA questions number 8. Any volunteer to read questions number 8? Any volunteer, class?
Saya, Doktor.
Okay, please. Question number 8.
A cardiologist is studying a sample of heart patient. He want to assess whether the cholesterol level of patient differ significantly across the young, middle-aged, and older patient. Using the data gathered, he conduct a one-way ANOVA analysis. Below is the summary of ANOVA result.
Okay, good. Okay, class, in this question, how many groups that you need to make the comparison? Please tell me how many groups. Young, middle-aged, and older
3.
patient. Yes, good, 3. If more than 2 groups, instead of we use independent sympathy test, we use the ANOVA. So here is very clear that we have 3 groups. And for ANOVA, normally, I will produce, SPSS will produce only one table. Okay, this is table for ANOVA. Okay, so normally the question will ask you, okay, state the null and alternate hypothesis. So how to state the null and alternate hypothesis is depend on how many groups do you have. In this question, you have 3 groups. So for the null hypothesis, mu1 group 1 equal to mu2 group 2 and mu3 group 3. And of course that you need to explain. Okay, mean 1 refer to mean group mana kan? Contohnya mu1 mean cholesterol level among young patient and seterusnya. And okay, alternate, not all mu are equal. And for the next question, the question wants you to calculate F value. F value which is A. So here, this value A. So you have to calculate. And how to gather F value? Okay, actually what you have to do, you need to divide mean square between group, divide by mean square within group. If you're unsure actually class, you can go to one ANOVA table here. So ada kat sini ya. So this is the formula. Okay, so just now the last one, ANOVA. Okay, this one. Okay, so divide these two value. Okay, 23428.1317 divided by 622.041. Okay, so the answer is 37.664. Okay, so the answer can be in the 2 decimal point as well. Okay, so the last one is at the 0.05 level of significance. So is it there is the evidence got different across these 3 groups? So mudah saja kelas. Okay, just take the significant value here, 0. The last one in the last column, 0.00. You compare with alpha 0.05. So actually lesser than alpha. So kita reject HO. So don't forget to make the conclusion. So there is the significant evidence to conclude that there is the significant difference in the mean of the cholesterol level across these 3 groups. This is how you answer the ANOVA questions. Okay, class, so far any question before I proceed to our very last topic? Boleh ya? Okay, kita proceed the last one, chapter 12, testing the relationship. Okay, untuk chapter 12 ni, you kena baca all the concept. What does, especially for the correlations, this one, correlation, the definition of the correlations. What does it mean by person correlations? This one also important, the strength of the relationships. Okay, read this value and also refer to the table 12.1. This one also you need to remember because this table are not provided in the what we call examination question paper tomorrow. You need to remember. Okay, and after that, okay, for the correlation hypothesis testing, okay, so again through SPSS. Okay, so you can try exercise 12.1. Okay, regressions, please read all the terminology of the regression analysis. okay, regression analysis, dependent, independent variable, and so on. However, class for the SPSS analysis, okay, for simple regression, so just read about the simple regression, but for the questions, we will concentrate on the multiple regressions. Okay, so you can refer to the example and exercise as well. So however, for our discussions, I will pick one questions in the tutorial questions. So for questions number 3. Questions number 3. Okay, page 181. Okay, so, okay, this is normally the question associated with the correlations. Okay, so a researcher wants to determine whether there is the association between satisfactions and purchase intentions among customer. Below is the person correlation output. So normally for correlations, basically, I will produce one table as well. Okay, so the first one you need to state it. The null and alternate hypothesis. Solutions, okay, how to state the null and alternate correlation is HO equal to rho equal to 0 and rho is not equal to 0. Rho dalam bentuk P ni kita panggil rho, means that there is the association between two variables. Class, instead of stated in the symbol, but I more prefer, because you are learning statistics, okay, I more prefer if you stated a hypothesis in the form of symbol rather than sentence. In case that you want to state it in the sentence, sentence also can. For example, HO, that is the relationship between what we call SAT and INT. So alternate hypothesis, that is significantly correlation. Alternate will be there is no significant correlation, and for alternate there is correlation, significant correlation between these two independent variables. Ada 4 soalan. Okay, saya cepat sikit. Okay, at the significant level 0.01, what conclusion can you reach about the association between these two variables? Okay, in order to test the p-value, you baca kat sini tahu p-value. So here. Okay, p-value. Okay, so p-value is 0.00, is lesser than 0.01. So kita reject HO. So means that there is correlation between these two variables. Okay, explain the direction of the association between these two variables. Is it positive or negative? Actually, it's positive. How we know that this association is positive? Okay, dekat sini you pergi correlation, person correlations, and you read here. Okay. If, okay, doesn't state the symbol means that it's positive. Kalau negative, it will state the negative symbol here. So means that the association or correlation is negative. Okay, so in this case, it's positive. So explain the strength, kekuatan correlations. Kalau you tengok, the value is 0.845, or you convert in the form of percentage is 84.5%. Okay. For actually refer to the actually this is linear regression, but you can try to answer these questions. But question 5 also refer to the linear regressions, so I will concentrate on question 6. And you also can try question 7 actually for multiple regression. Okay, for our last discussions today will be multiple regressions. Okay, multiple regression ni biasanya I bagi 2 atau 3 table. Okay, so any volunteer to read the last question, class? Okay, Farah ada ke Farah? I tak tahu Farah apa ni. Dia keluar Farah aja. Ataupun anyone who volunteer to read these questions? Ma Chen ada ke? Ma Chen? Ma Chen, are you in the system? Or any volunteer to read the last question, class?
Saya boleh
Saya, madam.
Okay,
Saya,
good, very
Doktor.
good. Okay, please read. Okay.
Fatima, a postgraduate student, would like to investigate the effect of age and working experience on employee performance. Data are collected from a sample of 125 students. Below is multiple regression output.
Okay, class. Okay, thank you. Okay, for this question, you have two variables in it, independent variable, which is age and working. So I colorkan sikit, age and working experience. So these two variable is independent variable and employee performance is dependent variables. Okay, class, if you unsure which one dependent, independent, you can read here. Okay, dependent variables. Okay, predictors here means that independent variables. And normally I will state it in the question 2 or 3 tables. Okay, normally we have model summary table, we have ANOVA table, and we have coefficients table. But in this question, we have 2 important table. Okay, so this is the result, 2 tables. Okay, so now I would like to explain to you. Nilai apa, which value that important for you to know in order to answer the multiple regressions, okay, questions. Okay, we look for the first question, compute and interpret the coefficient of determination R squared value, which is A. Okay, this is R squared class, R squared, I colorkan now, and A value. So how to know R squared? Mudah saja. Okay, you refer to R value. R actually correlation value. Okay, you stated, okay, R value which is 0.523, but you squarekan dia, kuasa 2 kan dia. So 0.523, you square it, you will get 0.2735 and convert into the percentage, you will get 27.35%. Okay, so what does it mean by this R squared? So R squared value denotes that 27.35% of total variance in the dependent variable, okay, actually is explained by 2 independent variable, which is age and working employee performance. Employee performance in it. Okay. Age and sorry class, working experience, sorry, employee performance is dependent variable. Okay, means that 27.35% or 27.35% of total variance in the dependent variable employee performance can be explained by the variance in independent variable, which is age and working experience. Okay, and after that again, you need to know how to state the null and alternate hypothesis. Okay, so untuk multiple regressions, in order to write the null and alternate hypothesis is by stated the beta. Okay, beta, so you have 2 independent variables, so you need to have 2 beta. Beta 1 and beta 2. Beta 1 actually represent the significant effect of age on a dependent variable, and the beta number 2 actually a significant effect of independent variable working experience on employee performance. So that's why you need to state it 2 beta and alternate hypothesis. The challenge hypothesis will be this one. Okay, so you need to read the significant value, P value, read here. So here class. Okay, so P value for age is 0.002. Working experience is 0.004, isn't it? Both of that is lesser than alpha, isn't it? So what is your decision? Reject or fail to reject? Reject or fail to reject class? Reject, isn't it? Okay, good. So, and after that, before you make the conclusions, you also need to state the beta value, significant beta value. Okay, standardized coefficient of beta, so here, stated. Okay, so for beta age is negative 0.472 and working experience is 0.440. So we conclude that there is the significant positive effect of working experience. Okay, because here if you look closely, yang working experience ni positif kan? Okay, however untuk age ni, the relationship is negative. So write down, and there is the negative effect of age ni on employee performance. So means that semakin tinggi umur, semakin you tua, your work performance will reduce. So this is mean by the negative, what we call negative association atau negative effect. Kalau positif, semakin banyak working experience, semakin tinggi you punya work performance. So this is mean by the relationship, positive and negative. Okay, and finally state the regression equations. Okay, yang ni pun memang selalu tanya ya. Okay, so this is the what we call the formula that you need to know. Okay, y refer to dependent variable, beta O is the constant value, pintasan. Beta 1 adds 1 for dependent variable number 1, beta 2 adds 2 for dependent variable number 2. Okay, so class is so easy, just substitute the value. Okay, so y will be employee performance, state employee performance equal to a constant value here, rate at unstandardized coefficient. So here, color. Okay, this one. Okay, constant value is 3. Okay, 0.285 minus, ada minus here untuk age, so here. So age here. Negative 0.082 in bracket age and add working experience. Okay, so unstandardized dia di sini ya. Okay, so 0.357 and multiplies with working experience. So this is referred to the regression equations. Okay, you also can try question number 7. Okay, class, so far do you have any question regarding multiple regression? So maybe I have 5 more minutes. Any other question, class? So I think that I already cover all the topics starting from the sampling distribution until multiple regression that compulsory for you to know for your exam.
Doktor,
Okay, yes?
table 9.2 muka surat 120 tu macam mana nak tengok dekat Z table, doktor?
Oh, sekejap Ada level. Okay, yang ni dia technical sikit tau. Okay, 90%. Contohnya saya ambil 5%, 95% dia automatically is 1.95 kan? Actually, I ada explain. Okay, di sini. Okay, tak apa, I explain. You tengok figure 9.2. Z alpha divided by 2 of a 95% confidence interval. Okay, kalau you divide 5% divided by 2 dapat berapa? 2.5%, which is 0.025, isn't it? Okay, so you pergi dekat Z table. Okay, tak apa, which is table. Okay, this one, cumulative. Okay, Z table 1. Okay, tadi kan, yang 5% divided by 2, you dapat 2.5 ataupun 0.025, isn't it? Okay, itu adalah nilai probability. So, you kena tengok nilai probability. So, I start yang negatif dulu. Okay, negatif. Okay, Z table. So, kalau you tengok, okay, saya tandakan lah. Okay, ambil simbol this one. Okay, you kena cari tau dalam ni 0.0025. So here. Yang ni nampak tak ni? Yang I tanda biru ni. Ni, nampak tak? Boleh nampak ke pelajar? 0.025. 5% tadi kita divide 2 kan, 2.5 tukar dalam decimal point kita dapat 0.025, isn't it? Boleh ke yang bertanya?
Boleh doktor.
Okay, so akan jadi negatif 1.6 1.96 kan? Nampak tak? Baca Z ni. Sebab you kena baca, dia akan bagi you nilai probability 5%. Okay, divide by 2 dapat 2.5%. Okay, cari dalam table probability, you cari dalam, dia contradict pula. Sebab you kena cari Z pula. Biasanya you cari, dia beri Z, cari probability. Sekarang ni dia bagi you probability, you kena cari Z. So, negative 1.96. So, positif negatif. Kalau yang positif dia, positif 1.96. Bolehkah? Bolehkah yang bertanya tu? Confused lagi?
Doktor.
Boleh doktor.
Boleh? Okay, good. Okay, boleh ya? Kalau nak cari ni agak ambil masa sikit. That's why untuk jimatkan masa you esok, I suruh you hafal. Tapi takut lupa ya. Kalau lupa kena refer macam tu kat Z table. Okay, any other questions?
Doktor.
Yes.
Yang 90% tu kenapa dia ada 3 decimal point?
Okay, okay, 90%. Sebenarnya yang ni I rujuk satu buku, tapi kalau in case that you nak buat dua decimal point pun tak ada masalah, which is 1.65. Okay, tapi kalau you just follow this table, I also accept, which is 1.645. I accept both answer. Boleh ke yang bertanya?
Okay, boleh doktor.
Okay, you follow yang ni pun tak ada masalah. Sebenarnya kalau you refer buku-buku lain pun ada 3-4 titik perpuluhan. Okay, but this one 90%, this is more accurate actually. But in case that you refer to the Z table, 2 decimal point pun okay, which is 1.65. Right, you just round out the numbers. Okay, ada lagi soalan because I close. Oh, dah dekat pukul 4, I pun tak sedar. Saya ingat nak habiskan dalam pukul 3 tadi, tapi kesian pula you all nanti tak habis. Alright, okay?
Doktor last.
Okay, okay.
Tadi kan doktor refer Z table tu dekat negatif. Kenapa negatif doktor?
Okay, kalau ikutkan, sepatutnya you kena baca dua tau. Okay, kalau ikutkan table ni, that's why I rasa macam lebih mudah student saya untuk ingat. Okay, sebab kalau rujuk table ni, mana tadi? You kena baca, dia ada negatif sebab dia di bawah. Confident limit. Okay, above mean. Lower confident limit. Kalau upper confident limit, okay, so kita percaya bahawa satu probability is 1 kan. 1 minus 0.025, which is 0.957. So you go to the Z table tadi untuk cari yang Z positif. Sebenarnya you kena cari 2. I ambil this one.
Doktor dah faham tak cari 2 Kalau dah faham?
Kalau dah faham, it's okay.
Okay, betul.
Okay, 1 point. I tunjuk jugalah. I tunjuk juga. Okay, so here, nampak tak ni? 1.975. So, positive 1.96. Okay, positive minus. So, this is how, if you want to refer to the Z table in order to find the Z alpha divided by 2 for that particular confident, okay, what we call confident levels. So, agak susah sikit. Okay, that's why terus saya bagi tip kat student saya, it's more easy for you if you memorize this value. In case kalau terlupa, it's okay. Just refer to the Z table. Tapi dia, you kena tengok dua nilai tu kan. Depend on the confidence level. Alright, okay. Okay, class. Yes?
Madam, may I know the duration of the exam?
2 hours and 30 minutes only.
Okay, thank you, madam.
Alright. Okay, kelas. So, saya rasa sampai di sini saja. So, I do hope that our discussion today will really help you, especially for the examinations tomorrow. Sampai di sini sahaja. So, esok saya tak ada untuk invigilate examinations. So, if you have any question, maybe you boleh tanya pengawas, tapi I tengok soalan tu insya-Allah tak ada masalah, boleh jawab. Okay, so kelas, so here I would like to wish you all the best.
Doktor buat soalan
Thank you, doktor.
Doktor buat soalan
Of course saya buat soalan.
Oh.
Ya?
Doktor.
Okay, thank you doktor.
Mesti saya buat soalan, saya mengajar kan. Tapi esok saya tak invigilate, saya tak jaga exam esok sebab saya jaga untuk paper lain. Okay.
Doktor nak tanya.
Doktor.
Okay.
Doktor, boleh tak doktor bagi past year punya soalan?
Oh, past year. Past year, tak ada dalam rekod saya untuk, sebab soalan tu kebanyakannya confidential. Apa-apa pun you kena rujuk library, dia macam tu.
Okay.
Tapi sebenarnya kalau you buat tutorial soalan saya tu, memang soalan tu I ambil daripada past year. Cuma I tak boleh bagi you satu set tu.
Okay, faham.
Okay.
Alright, doktor. Thank you, doktor.
Please for tomorrow, please buat all the tutorial questions tu.
Thank you,
InsyaAllah boleh. Okay, ada lagi tadi?
Ni, esok exam pukul berapa? Doktor cakap 9.30 tapi dekat slip pukul 9.
Pukul 9 lah. I cakap 9.30 ke? Ya Allah. Ya. Ya ke? Oh, dekat announcement saya?
Tak dekat grup WhatsApp.
Dekat grup WhatsApp. Pukul 9 kelas.
Pukul 9
Please
okey.
follow. Oh, I letak sini 9.30 ya. Okey, nanti I buat update. Okey, pukul 9. Okey, thank you for asking. Sebenarnya pukul 9. Macam biasa, pukul 9, 8.30 you dah kena ada kat Dewan.
Okey.
Okey, alright. Okey.
Betul?
Ada lagi? Yes?
Banyak chapter mana? Soalan.
Oh, so dia akan keluar semua chapter tu yang I cakap. Dia satu chapter tu dia mesti ada soalan. Okey ya?
Doktor, recording ni boleh dapat tak doktor?
Nak ke recording ni?
Kalau boleh nak doktor.
Okey, macam ni. Saya kena tunggu, biasanya Webex dia ambil masa untuk dia email pada saya. Kalau ada, I share. Boleh ya? I will share.
Okey,
Right.
doktor.
Okay, so kelas, dah pukul 4 dah. Saya sebenarnya ada urusan, tapi I kesian dekat you all. Okay, for your examination tomorrow. But it's okay, I spend masa sikit dengan you all. Okay, class, so akhir kata, so I would like to wish all my students all the best for tomorrow final examinations. And please don't forget at least to take a simple breakfast. Makan dulu. Okay, makan dulu simple breakfast and datang ke examination hall awal. And don't forget to bring your metric card, elite metric cards dengan slip examinations. Alright, so sampai di sini saja. Okay, kelas. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, bye student.
Thank you, doktor.
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 Thank you, doktor.